Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here, and today I have another smoosh box for you. And this time I'm doing an Easter themed one, and I created a beautiful little cross to go on top of it. But even if you don't want a box with a cross on top of it, the measurements and everything will allow you to create a large oval smoosh box, which is just a little bit larger than the one I made last week. So I'm going to try and work my way so that we have a couple different sizes of the oval smoosh boxes. But here it is. Isn't it beautiful? And look at this cross. I've got it popped up a little bit on dimensionals. It's made using the mini medallions dies, and it's just so beautiful and delicate. And then I use the hydrangea hill paper. This is the one with all the pretty hydrangeas over it. There isn't a bad pattern in the bunch. I try to look for a neutral sort of overall pattern for the sides of the box, but it just will make your box really super pretty. And in a moment I'll show you the box sizes the box size that I made last week next to the one that I'm making this week. And of course, if you are an email list subscriber, I'm going to send you my project sheet tomorrow, and this will have the measurements for the larger size of the oval box. Also on page 2, I have a handy little diagram on how to get 3 crosses out of the mini medallions dies as you're making them. It's just initially when I started with the crosses, I was only getting 2 out, and then I was like, wait a minute, I think if I shifted things a little bit, I can get 3 out of there. And I don't think I can get 4 out, but maybe I can. I don't know. But I was only able to figure out how to get 3. Maybe there's a way to get more out of there. It's like a puzzle, right? You think you can only get 2, and then all of a sudden it's like, wow, I could get 3. And I did try and switch it around so I could get more, but if you can get more out, let me know. But as far as I could tell, I could only get 3 out. Good morning, Janine. I'm so glad you're here. And if you have any questions while I'm doing this, please go ahead and ask them so that I can address them while I'm live. And if you're watching this as a recording, pop me a question down below if you have one, and I will try and get it answered for you. All right, is there anything else I need to tell you before we start? Just a little notice, if you like this video, if you're enjoying it, or if you enjoyed it afterwards, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up, so it helps more people see the video if you enjoy it. And if you want to see more of my videos, make sure you subscribe to my channel and then click on the bell so you can adjust your notifications. Okay, let me switch cameras and let me talk about this box. Okay, so I told you about my project sheet. Let's talk about some of the things that I used. So I used the Itty Bitty Greetings stamp set, and I used it to create this little Easter blessings greeting. And I'm going to show you how I did that. There's a little trick to that. Then I used the classic label punch, and I fed it in between the little gaps of the cross. So that's kind of a neat thing. I'll show you in a moment too. And then this is the die that makes the cross happen. These are called the mini medallions dies, and this is just a gorgeous lattice work. If you're looking to see like cards that you can make with this, I did a card with this die earlier this week, and just beautiful. And then of course for the you also need the layering ovals dies in order to create the oval top for this. Okay, those are kind of the main ingredients. Of course I used some other supplies along the way, but just wanted to let you know what those were. Okay, let's have a look at the box sizes. Okay, so the one I made last week is a little bit smaller. You can kind of see it's a little bit shorter as well, a little narrower. So just a little bit smaller, the one that I made last week. So now you have two different sizes. And of course you can decorate them up however you like, but you know, having this beautiful cross on top, I'm sure it will be great for Easter. It would be great for baptisms, communions, you know, any Christian holidays that you need a little box for. This would be great. I also want to show you how to make a matching note card, and it's a very easy note card using kind of the same supplies, and I just shifted around a few things just to make it work for a note card. But it just, you know, this now becomes a really nice gift set with the two of them. All right, let me set this aside and let's get started with our box. This, of course, is the beautiful Hydrangea Hill paper that I'm using today. And let me get this. I need a scoring tool and I need some paper. So to start off with, we're going to do the lid of the box. And I've cut a piece of cardstock 9.5 inches by 3.5 inches. And I'm going to put the short side up at the top to start off with. And I'm going to score at the 1 3/4 inch mark. All right, then we'll turn one of the long sides to the top. And this, you just need to pay attention because we're not going to score all the way down. We're just going to score to this score line that I just made. It's halfway down, okay? So we're going to score at the 1 3/4 inch mark, the 4.5 inch mark, the 6 1/4 inch mark, and the 9 inch mark, okay? And each of these is just going midway. Then I'm going to grab a bone folder. I'm just making sure I'm following my instructions carefully. So the side that's scored on here, I'm not going to curl. This side that hasn't been scored, that's what I want to curl. And this side here is going to be my outside. So I'm going to keep that to the top and use my bone folder on the bottom. I just want to give it a little bit of a curl because this is going to create the oval for the box. So it's going to just have a slight curl to it like that. All right. You know what? I should dig in my garbage can because I had a great little template to show you how I did the cutting. Aha. This was from last week because we're going to do the same cuts as last week. So I've got my piece oriented like this. Okay, and you might think, wow, she's digging in her garbage. I only put paper stuff in my garbage, so it's not really gross garbage. So I never throw any like food or anything in there because I don't clean out my garbage bin until it's really, really full. So I don't put anything gross in there. So anyway, I want to cut away this little corner segment. So I'll find that all the scored things are down here, so I'm just going to cut this little piece away. Okay, so now it matches my template down here. And then I'm going to cut up along each of these other score lines. So just cut just to the midpoint when I hit the other score line, like that. Okay, and then I'm going to fold each of these down along the score lines. And do it now because it's easier to do it now. All right, so you can kind of see how that bottom is going to come together. And now I'm going to take Tombow and this little end piece right here that's sticking out, I'm going to put Tombow on it. And then I'm going to match it up with its other side. Bring it together, overlap them, and just kind of make sure it's straight, like eyeball it. You want to make sure everything is nice and straight, and then press it down. So there's going to be just a tiny little gap right there so those folds can come down. So this is what it looks like right now. It looks like a circle, but we're going to turn it into an oval. So we'll fold one of these long flaps down, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of Tombow on here, kind of trying to make sure it reaches the four corners. And then I'll fold this one down on top of it, the other large flap. And I'm just trying to match them up as best I can to create that bottom. And then I'm going to put Tombow on first one of the short flaps. I'll put it on the other short flap as well. And then I'll bend them in. This bottom is rectangular and the top will be oval. So now I can flip this around and press down and make sure that bottom is all nice and sealed. Okay, so now we have the sides for the box. Now we just need to put a nice top on there, and that will create, this will be oval and then the top will be oval. So I'm going to take an oval, and I used the largest layering oval, and I ran it through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, okay, with a piece of Misty Moonlight. And so I got this piece right here, and I'm going to put Tombow on the bottom of this rectangle here. And I'm going to stand up to do this so I get a nice bird's eye view. And I'm going to come down and just make sure this is centered on here as best as possible. The four corners might come off just a little tiny bit, but it shouldn't matter too much. I'll flip it over in a second so I can show you what it looks like. Okay, so that's what it looks like, and you can kind of see there might be a little bit of a corner coming off, but for this, I thought it was better to just have it be like that, because otherwise I would have had to take another 1/8 of an inch off, and I thought it just didn't matter that much. It was so close. So you'll see maybe a little bit of a corner peeking out there. Okay, so this is going to be the top of the box, and now let's create the bottom of the box. So we're going to use our Simply Scored again, and another piece of this beautiful Hydrangea Hill paper, and this one measures 9 inches by 3 1/4 inches. And we're kind of going to do the same thing but different measurements. Short side up at the top, and this time we are scoring at the 1 5/8 inch mark. Whoops, all the way down. Then one of the long sides comes up at the top. Make sure it's nicely into the corner. We're going to score at 1 5/8 just till the midpoint. 4 1/4 just to the midpoint. 5 7/8 just to the midpoint, and then 8 1/2 just to the midpoint. Okay, so now we're going to curl our cardstock on the side that has no score marks. It looks like that. And then I'll bring my template in again, just so I can show you. It's the same pattern as before. We're cutting away the small segment on the end. It's the smallest one, so you can't get confused. All right, and then we're going to cut up along the score lines. All right, and then I'm going to fold down all of these pieces along the score line. Okay, You can put the template away now. Okay, and then we'll find this little end segment right here, and we're going to put Tombow on it. And then we're going to match up the two ends and make sure they're even and not crooked. And just press down for a few seconds. All right, then we'll fold down one of the larger flaps, put Tombow on it, and then match up the other large flap. Try and overlap them nicely as best you can, you know, so they match up. And then put Tombow on the other flaps, the short flaps, and then bend these down one at a time. And I try and make it a rectangle, so you'll see like there's a little bit of a gap right there. I'm pressing that flat, okay? So it does form a rectangle at the bottom, and it's curved on this side. So just press it so it matches up into like a rectangular shape, okay? And then press down here at the bottom. Okay, then I cut another Misty Moonlight rectangle in the same size, okay? So it's the largest smooth oval, because we also have scallop ovals in that collection, okay? Same size. And then I'm just going to put Tombow to the bottom, and again I'm standing up and I'm going to do bird's eye view, and I'm going to come down and center this. Now this piece is a little bit smaller, so there's going to be a little distance from each of the four sides, okay? I'll show you that in a second, the difference. Pressing down. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little bit of a distance, whereas this corner is like right on the edge or hovering a bit over. This one's going to be just a little bit in, okay? Because these two have to come together, so one of them has to be smaller. And so then we smoosh it together. That's why I call it a smoosh box. See, it kind of smooshes together, and it makes a nice snug fitting box. Like it doesn't feel like it's going to come off, right? So that is the basis of the box. Now let's decorate it. Okay, so I took a piece of Seaside Spray cardstock, and let me see which die I took. I think it's the, yeah, it's the largest scallop in this collection, the largest one, and I cut it with Seaside Spray. And when I did this one right here, I used Purple Posy, and I just want to talk a moment about Purple Posy and Seaside Spray. These are both really great colors, but they are in colors that are retiring in 2 months. And we are going to get the retiring list at the end of March. And at that point, these colors will be while supplies last. And they may, some things may actually run out before them. We have Purple Posy blends, cardstock. We don't have an ink pad for Purple Posy, but for Seaside Spray, we have blends, we have an ink pad, we have cardstock. Make sure if you have an ink pad, get yourself an ink refill for those colors so that you can continue to use them. Get enough cardstock to use beyond when you know, beyond the retirement if you like the color. I find that Purple Posy is just the perfect color to match with Highland Heather and Gorgeous Grape. It's kind of like a tri-color system, you know, they're all kind of a little bit lighter. And I also like this color combination with the Seaside Spray and the Misty Moonlight. And then I'm going to show you in a moment the Night of Navy is going to be the cross on top. So I'm going to add this onto here. And it's such a pretty spring color. and I don't want you to miss out if you haven't gotten them already, or if you want to make sure you have enough. Okay, so now you can just see there's just a little bit of hint of that misty moonlight underneath. It's just starting to come together. All right, and then earlier I cut a piece with the mini medallions dies, and I'm going to give you just a little couple of little tricks that you can use with this die to help you. I keep a piece of wax paper by my die cutting machine, and I just rub it over top of my die. So here's what I do. I'll grab it. I just kind of ball up a piece, and I do this. Okay, and that just helps make the release from the cardstock a little easier. Another thing I do is on the cutting plate, I angle this piece just a little bit so it doesn't go through straight. Angling helps it go through the machine a little more easily. And the other thing I do is I run it back and forth. So I go through the machine and then I come back, because that way everything cuts just a little bit better when I'm doing that. And then I use my little die brush to help me release all the little pieces. If you run it through twice, a lot of the pieces will come out already. I flick this a little bit so a lot of the pieces already fall out, but I felt like you didn't need to see me do that. Okay, so now we're gonna cut the crosses, and I want to just show you, this is my little diagram to help me cut the different crosses out, because I thought I could only get 2 out, but I figured out how to get 3. Maybe there's a way to get 4. I could only figure out 3. So let's cut this cross here first. So I just start in the corner and I start snipping away, and I'm just going to cut across, and right here is where my little piece is going to come out. So I'm just going to cut halfway through this square, and then I'm going to stop. Then I'm going to come in from this side, snip it like that, and then just come in just a little ways. And so we can start to see that cross come together. And this is the little side arm of the cross. Then I'm going to come and just cut halfway. And then I'm going to come up. That's the top of the cross. Once you've done a few of these, you'll understand the pattern and how to do it. It's not hard. It's just you have to, if you print off this diagram, this is really going to help you decide where to make your little cuts. And then we'll just come along here, part way. Then I'll start from the bottom, nip this little piece off, and then come up along here. And oh, I'm almost off the camera. All right, straighten that out a bit. Okay, and I try, like on these little corners, I try to just kind of create like a little angle so that they all kind of look uniform. And so that's what it looks like once it's cut out. And using my diagram, you should be able to get 2 more crosses out of this piece. So you do the die cutting, then you cut the cross pieces out. And for this one right here, I use Night of Navy, and this one here, I use Gorgeous Grape for the original one that I did. I just wanted to show you how you could do different colors, because this paper here looks better with a blue cross than a purple cross. So I wanted to show you how you could use different papers within that series, so that you could, you know, do all the different papers in there, just give you a few different options. Okay, so next we're going to create that little Easter blessings greeting. So I've got a piece of basic white cardstock, and I've got my Easter blessings greetings. So Easter blessings starts off like this, all in one row. Well, there's enough room to cut in between there, so yes, I did cut in between the two pieces. So now I have two different stamps that I can use separately, because sometimes I like to stack my stamps and sometimes I like to stamp them all in one row. I like to have options. I'm going to use Night of Navy, and first, I think I stamped this last in purple. I have barely anything left on my chamois. Okay, let me clean off these stamps. I didn't do that this morning. Okay, so now they're clean. Now I'm going to tap very lightly on here because this is a tiny stamp. I'm going to stamp Easter, and then I'm going to stamp blessings right underneath there. Okay, I want to make sure it's the right way. That was the opposite way. And what you can do is you can practice stamping this a few times so that you know how to get it straight. Use some computer paper and practice it so that you know how to do it. Once you get the hang of it, it will be really easy. Okay, then I'm going to take my classic label punch and I'm going to center this right in here as best I can and punch it. And then I'm going to feed this in here. See, there's this little slot right here. You can feed it in, and then you can feed in the other side like this. Okay, I want my greeting to stay straight. If I leave it just like that, it might float around a bit. So what I did is I came in here and I just put a little dot of Tombow behind. I don't know if you can see that. Come here. A little dot of Tombow in the center. And then I just kind of held that down. So now it's going to stay in place. And you can do the other side too if you want to. I just didn't want it to shift up and down. Okay. So now we've got Easter blessings on there. Just the perfect size, right, for this cross. Just awesome. Perfect. Okay, and then the other thing I wanted to do is I thought it would look really pretty if I added some pearls on here. So to each of these little medallions, I'm just going to add a little pearl. Takes 5 pearls because you don't need one for the center. And one more. Okay, so that adds just another little thing to the cross, the little pearls on there. Then I'll flip this over and I've got my mini dimensionals and I'm just going to put on one behind each of the center of each medallion piece. If you don't want to do dimensionals, if you don't want it lifted off, you could also just glue it down, but I like having it kind of hovering it over the top of the box right here. So then we're just going to peel these off. And they'll probably stick to my clothes. Okay, just move those off to the side. All right. And then, okay, I'm gonna stand up again so I got a nice bird's eye view. And then I'll just hover this over top. Make sure it looks straight. There, isn't that pretty? Okay, one last thing. Where are you? I tied a bow. There it is. Okay. So I tied a little bow with the white crinkled seam binding. This ribbon is fabulous on its own. And if you don't want to color it, you don't have to. You can just add it on there and it will just be white and bright. But I wanted to dull it down a little bit and have it match the blue so that the Easter blessing really pop. Your eye always goes to white, the whitest space, the lightest, the brightest space. So that's why I don't want too many white elements on my card if possible. So I want it to focus on Easter blessing. So if I dull this down a little bit with a little blue, then it's not going to be pop as bright and it's just going to be a nice little embellishment. So I pre-tied my bow and I'm going to take my Seaside Spray Dark blend and I'm just going to run it over the bow right here. So when you do this, it's just going to take a little moment to dry. This is an alcohol marker, but it's not going to take too long. And then what you can do, okay, I have my scrap piece of cardstock here. I'm going to do the other side, but to hold on, I'm just going to put a piece of cardstock over the part that I just colored so I don't get blue fingers. Come here. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. So we'll just let that dry just for a few seconds. And that's what it looks like. It's just a little bit bluer than the white was. And then I'll take a mini glue dot, it's almost dry, and stick it on the knot, press down, poke it up, and then add it over here to my Easter blessings greeting. And there's the little box. Isn't it cute? So cute. Okay, and then this box, just for comparison. So they're both pretty, and if you like the blue or the purple, and then look at the sides so you can see how you can kind of match the paper to the colors, right? Okay, let me show you how I did the card real quick. So I'm using the Whisper White note cards and envelopes. And just pull one out here. They're pre-cut and pre-scored. The card front ends up being 3.5 by 5. So just a little bit smaller than a traditional Stampin' Up! Card. And then we're just gonna bring this together and use a bone folder to smooth out the card. Okay, so this time I'm gonna kind of use the same pieces. Let me grab them all out here. Okay, so I want a box to match my card, right? So I'm going to, I could use this side, which would be very pretty as well, but I want it to match the sides of my box. So I'm going to use this side. This is a little piece of 3.5 by 2 inch paper. And I'll just add Tombow to here. Ah! Okay, luckily I dropped it. Well, hopefully that's going to be covered. I did that on another video lately. Not always good to drop something that has glue on it. Okay, we'll cover most of it up. Got it. Okay, so we're going to glue this the same way. Take the same sizes of ovals as I used for this one. So the large and the large oval, large scallop oval, large smooth oval, and same colors, Seaside Spray and Misty Moonlight. And then I'm going to add this. And this one, I would just center it top to bottom, side to side. Somehow pretty close. Okay. All right, and then I did the cross exactly the same way as I did this one. I didn't think you needed to see that again, but I had extra cross, so I just made one. So I'll just take off the little dimensionals. I already put them on the back. So this is what you can use your extra crosses for, you know, if you just make one box, and then you can make a couple cards with the leftover crosses. So, okay, so I just kind of center that. Get rid of these little dimensionals. Okay, and I pre-colored a bow, same size and everything, and then I'll just use my mini glue dot on here. And then I'll do it the same way as this one right here. I'm just going to pop it right about there, on there. Okay, let me move some of these things out of the way so I can show you these things side by side. Get everything out of the way. Okay, let me scooch this up. Scooch this back. Got a nice screen there. You can see how pretty those are, right? You've got one in the purple colors and one in the blue colors. There's one other kind of color tone in there that has kind of a pinkish hue. Just do the same thing. Use like light towards dark to create the you know, the different color tones, and you should be good. And then you can color like with a different color blends as well. So you're gonna have like all matching cards and boxes, and they're gonna look so gorgeous, right? Look at, just really beautiful. All right, so those are the boxes. Oh, and I should mention we have celebration going on. So say you're going to say you're going to buy this mini medallions die, right? So if you buy the die, you buy some of this pretty paper, and you get some pearl jewels. Where are my pearls? They're under my stack here somewhere. Okay. Get a package of pearl jewels. This is about half a package because I've already used some out of here. But that will equal up to about $50, and then you can get a free celebration choice. And my celebration catalog wandered here too. This is the celebration catalog. So if you spend $50, you can choose this paper or this paper up here, or you can choose this stamp set, the corner bouquet, or the Heal Your Heart stamp set. Or you can choose the Flower and Fields designer paper. And, oh, where did my little donkeys go? They're in here too. Okay, I missed them. There they are. Here are the little donkey stamp set. So this offer is available from Stampin' Up until the end of February. If you spend $100, there's some other choices. You can either choose two of the items that I previously mentioned, or you could choose this one for a $100 order, which is a Touch of Ink stamp set. This is the one I used earlier this week with the medallions. Or you could choose the Berry Blessings stamp set and paper, and this one also coordinates with the strawberry bundle that we have in the catalog. So it's a nice coordinating match with those. So I just wanted to mention that if you're going to get that die, it's around $35 around there. If you're going to get that, if you spend just a little bit more, then you can get a celebration freebie with that. So don't forget to max out. When I first became a customer, I was a customer for 3 years before I became a demonstrator, and I would play with my orders so I could always maximize benefits. And so if you're doing that, that's one way to get a benefit. If you order from me, you can choose one of my free tutorials, and that this month I have the Rolo's Heart tutorial, and you don't have to choose this one. I have over 70 other tutorials to choose from, so you don't have to choose this one, but this is my new one. And then also, if you spend $75 with me, you get butterfly gems, and I'll send those out next month. So just some little perks. Maximize what you're getting when you place your Stampin' Up! Orders. Okay, let me see if there's anything else I need to tell you. If you need to know a full supply list, it is down below in the description of it's not in the description of my video. There's a link to my blog post, and the blog post will take you over. The link will take you over to my blog post, and that will have the supply list. So everything that I mentioned today will be in that supply list. You can click on it and check it out. We did have a bit of an outage in the northeast corner of the country this morning. Myself and some other demonstrators were having trouble logging on to the online store. So if you live in the northeast and have trouble getting on the online store, try a little bit later today, because I think they were just having, I don't know if it was like a server outage or what, but it didn't affect all of the US. So I'm not sure what's going on. But just so you know, the store is still open. It's just, it might be a little delayed. I haven't had a chance to check it out since I started this video. All right, now I'm going to go back and talk to you guys and see if there's any questions. Go back to the beginning. Good morning, Birgit. Good morning, Pat and Linda and Cindy and Emma. Oh, we've got so many different states here this morning. And Linda, and beautiful. Oh, and there's someone from Vancouver, my home province. I don't know if you know this, Catherine, but I'm from British Columbia originally. I still have family there, but from the interior, so a little bit a ways from you, but love British Columbia. I can't wait to get back to it. I live in the Boston area now, and I haven't seen my mom for almost 2 years. And in fall, my father died, and I haven't been back there. I wasn't able to go out at all, and I just want to go see her. Like, I just want to go give her a big hug, and I haven't been able to do that yet. So as soon as I can, that's one of the things I want to do. Go back to BC and see my mom and see my sister, and just give them big hugs. Yeah. Okay, that was a tangent. Don't throw your country in there. Don't throw Vancouver, because I'll go off on a tangent. Okay. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you guys like the box. Birgit likes that the box and the cards match. And Alita liked the purple one best. Oh, that's cool. I didn't ask which ones you like best. Did you like purple or the blue better? Which one? You can tell me. I'm going to answer this last question that I have up here from Pat. Pat asked, did your son go back to school? Yes, he did, but actually he's on his work term right now. So from January till April, he's in a co-op program. So he's in computer engineering. And so they alternate between 4 months of work and 4 months in school. So right now he's on a work term. He's working remotely, but he's up in Canada. It's just easier because they had to get him like a special laptop and everything like that. So he's up there, and he's living with his roommates, and he has his girlfriend up there. And it's just easier because if he were here, we don't want him to go out and see all of his friends and then come back here and stuff, you know, because we're older, and, you know, it's harder, you know, to restrict young people. He's actually really good. You know, he always wears his mask, and he hasn't had the virus or anything, even with living with roommates. They've been very good about, you know, keeping to their group, and he borrowed my car to go back to Canada so he can go grocery shopping and stuff. He didn't have a car the first year. He really didn't need one, but now it's kind of essential. So when he crossed the border, he had to quarantine when he came here. He had to quarantine going back. So he's not going to be coming too often until we can have an open border again. So maybe later this summer, but he won't be able to come in between terms. It's just too hard with the quarantining and stuff. But we FaceTime. He FaceTimed me last night. He's so cute. Okay, I know this is the end of the video, so I can talk about this. But he's really sweet. He was baking something last night, and he FaceTimed me, and he said, "Hey, Mom, do you have a moment?" And so he FaceTimed me, and he showed me these things that he made. He's making something for his girlfriend. So it's just really sweet. And he calls my husband if he needs to talk about work, because my husband's also an engineer, and he calls me when there's something in the kitchen, something crafty, something artsy. He'll call me for that. So it's kind of fun that we sometimes get those calls out of the blue. All right, that was a long answer to your question, Pat. But and Birgit asked, could you trace your passport application? I still do not have a my passport still has not turned up yet on my application. So just a little update. After last week, I got interrupted by a call that I didn't take. And so I talked to a lovely lady at the Boston passport office, and she said she still feels like it might be kind of, they had a backlog of them that landed the same time. So she thinks it still might turn up. So, but good thing is that she said that if they have lost it, they will reimburse me for replacing one very expensive document, which would be like $500 to replace my citizenship certificate. So she sent me a letter, and they will be doing, I can sign up for credit monitoring just in case it isn't found. So I was really appreciative of that. I know things sometimes don't work the way in life that we want them to, and we have to kind of, like, I've tried not to be angry. Like, I do get anxious over it, but I've tried not to be angry with anyone, because everyone's dealing with crap right now, basically bad stuff, right? And people have been getting sick, some people have died, and everyone's trying to do the best that they can. So this person was just super nice, and I was super nice back, and tried to be understanding and trying to work with the system to try and get my passport. Because I feel when I don't have my passport, I feel like I can't get to Canada and see my family. But not that I can anyway, but it just kind of just doesn't make you feel good when you don't have a passport that you can use to travel freely. So but we're working on it. I keep checking. To see if my check has been cashed, because they required either a check. So if my check gets cashed, that could either be someone's gotten my check and has cashed it, or it could be the government, which I hope would be the case. So we'll check in, and then I keep checking the tracking number. Nothing's changed. So I keep slogging through, and hopefully, she said, give it 2 weeks. So that would be another week, because it was last Friday that this happened. So in another week, I'm gonna check in with her again and see what she thinks. If there's still hope that it will be found, if they still have a backlog of stuff sitting in a box somewhere, then I'll feel good. But in the meantime, people that put their applications in after me, they've already had theirs processed. Like people that have non-expedited passports, I paid for expedited, which is 4 to 6 weeks, and now it's been, we're almost mid-month, so it's been I don't know, we're coming up on 10 weeks, I think, about. So that's a long time. Okay, I'm gonna read back. Oh, so Pat asked, did they say how long you have to wait to reapply? Like if I really had a burning urgent need, if I had like a scheduled trip, they would probably let me go ahead and do it right now. But first, if I have to do that, I have to go and get my citizenship certificate. I don't know how long that will take. I just know the cost of it. It's like $555. But they did say that they would reimburse me for that. So, but I would have to get that first, and then I'd have to go in and reapply. And I found out too, like it went in a priority envelope. It wasn't just like a regular envelope. You know, they put the expedited ones in a priority envelope. So I didn't see that process because it got put in the done at the post office. So I feel like I did like everything right, but still something went wrong. And there are 3 outstanding passports from that day, from that post office. It didn't go missing from that post office. It actually got to a different sorting facility. So that post office like has like no responsibility for that, but they've been fabulous. Every time I call, they've helped me a lot. But it wasn't something that they did on their end. And even the processing facility, I called up there and they said they've cleared up their backlog. So it's just, I don't know, something's amiss. A few passports have gone missing. I don't know if there's others in Boston as well. I was told that there were. So I don't know what happened to all of them. Just don't know, but we'll figure it out, and life will go on, right? Okay, that's a long story, and I'm glad it's at the end of the video so that people that don't want to listen to this don't have to. Okay. I think, yeah, I have to admit that I do like the purple one a little bit better than the blue one, but if you have these on display somewhere, if you're giving these out, even if purple is your favorite color, having different colors on the same tray or on the same display makes the purple ones pop. It makes it look better, because if you do them all one color, it's not going to look as pretty on a display. Oh, I always try and do 3 different colors on a display if I'm doing it, at least 3, because it makes it pop really prettily. So, you know, it's nice to have the different color choices, and then you can use the different colors of paper within the paper as well. So I have to admit I do like the purple as well, but it's nice to see there's that pink color over here. I would use Rococo Rose with that, and maybe I'm trying to see if they have any other colors. Maybe Petal Pink and Rococo Rose, or Blushing Bride for the lighter color. And then you could do one of the darker reds if you want for the cross, like Cherry Cobbler. Might look nice. Cherry Cobbler, Rococo Rose, and Blushing Bride, or Petal Pink. I'd have to, like, I didn't do one for this, but that I would experiment with those colors. Or if you didn't like the red, I would just double back onto the Rococo Rose. I would do the cross and Rococo Rose, and see, because this one I use 3 colors. But if you had to, you could use Rococo Rose for the cross and for the base oval as well. That would work, I think, as well, because there's just a tiny peak of color if you wanted to come back with that. So, all right. All right. That Hydrangea Hill paper is one of the best papers. Pat says she feels so very sorry for me. Thank you for your prayers, Pat. I think, I think things will work out. I think sometimes we just need to be a little bit patient, especially right now. I'm just going to try and be a little patient. As long as there's still hope, I'm not going to start the reapplication process, because that's going to be a whole pain all on its own, because I have to start by getting my one original document back. I had to send in the original. They wouldn't let me send in a copy. Actually, I got it dimensional. I had to send in a copy and the original. So, there was no choice in that. And so if it's lost, right? Okay. What fits in these pretty boxes? That's a good question. So, Just hold on. Okay, I come on across the room. I just want to give you an idea of what will fit. You can put candy, right? But let me switch here. Okay, so you could fit a whole lot of kisses. So, you know, size-wise, you can kind of see, you probably know what a size of a kiss is. So that's one thing. If you were doing, I know this is candy again. This is the one thing I have. So, you know, you could put like jewelry if it's like a communion or something like this. Okay, here are some leftover Linder chocolates. It fits about 3 of these Linder truffles. So just kind of idea size-wise what you can get in there. And then, you know, I guess it just kind of depends what you are doing for an Easter gift. It could be candy. I mean, that's an easier, cheap one, but that's what I would go with. I hope that helps a little bit. My originality. I spent too much time on the box and I didn't think about what I was going to put in that box, but I know you guys will figure out something that you will put in the box for everyone. Pat says, sorry to keep you so long. No, this is great. It's at the end of the video. People can shut it off at this point if they don't want to see this. All right, guys. Well, I hope you loved my large oval smoosh box. Look for my project sheet tomorrow. And of course, I'll be back next Tuesday and Friday with more videos for you. Okay, until then, see you soon.